When DJ Esco went on a world tour with Future, he had no idea that he was going to end up fighting for his freedom in Dubai. It's a wild story from the jump, and today we're breaking down how DJ Esco survived one of the most terrifying jails in the world. In 2014, Future was doing a huge tour in Europe and brought DJ Esco with him. Future and DJ Esco go way back. Esco was a regular DJ at Magic City, a famous strip club in Atlanta where all the rappers go to party. Future used to go to Magic City all the time to hang out and promote his music. He first met DJ Esco around 2008 after Future tried to give Esco a mixtape hosted by DJ Scream in the Magic City parking lot. DJ Esco told Future straight up they didn't listen to CDs with another dude talking all over it. Future appreciated him being real, and ever since then they had a close relationship. So when Future started blowing up, Esco became one of his main DJs and went with him on a big European tour. Everything was going smooth the whole time, and the tour was about to end. The last stop was in Amsterdam, and Esco wanted to party because his birthday was around the same time. Weed has been legal in Amsterdam since the 70s, and a lot of people go there just to party. Esco and everyone else in the crew was having a good time and getting ready to come back to America, but then Future got booked for one more show in Abu Dhabi. Future's whole team packed up to fly to Abu Dhabi, and that's when everything went wrong. When they landed in Dubai, everyone else got through the airport without any problems, but Esco was behind them because he was taking care of all the bags. The first problem was that the tour cameraman tried to take photos inside the airport while he was with Esco, and the cops stopped them and made the photographer delete everything. Esco and the photographer kept walking, but then the cop ran back up to them and told Esco that he wanted to check all of the bags. Esco was taking care of like 30 bags and didn't even know what was in most of them, but he didn't have any choice and had to let the cops search them. The cop was looking through the bags for like an hour, and then he finally found a little weed crumb in Esco's backpack. Esco didn't think it was going to be a big deal, but then way more cops showed up and started tearing up other bags to find more drugs. They ended up finding a bag with 15 grams of weed in it, and what Esco didn't know is that he could have been hit with a mandatory 5-year minimum sentence right on the spot. The cops took Esco to the police station, and what made the situation worse is that everyone was speaking Arabic and he had no idea what they were talking about. Back then, Esco was trying to be low-key and wasn't in the spotlight a lot, and that's what hurt him even more. Esco told the cops he was there for a concert when they arrested him, so they wanted him to prove it and show that he had been on TV before. If Esco had been in one of Future's music videos or something, they would have let him go right then, but he had been staying out of the spotlight and didn't have any videos that proved how successful he was. So Esco got thrown in jail immediately, and the police told Esco he was going to be there for a couple of days. Esco was already pressed about spending 2 days in jail, but the situation was about to get way worse for him. Esco didn't even get food or water for the first couple of days. Then he had to meet with the prosecutor who was handling his case. Over there, they don't have a judge and jury to keep everything fair. Instead, your prosecutor just does whatever they want to and doesn't even have to say what you're charged with. Then Esco went to court and had to admit that he brought drugs into the country. You can't even explain the situation though, just say yes or no. And if you say no, then they really try to jam you up. Esco finally got to call the US Embassy and ask for help, and 2 agents showed up to a jail a couple of days later. Esco thought they were going to rescue him right then, but they asked him if he was being tortured, and when Esco told them no, they basically just bounced and didn't do anything. So Esco was still stuck in jail with a bunch of people who had been booked on way crazier charges, like trying to blow up a tank. He said that there were basically 2 sides to the jail, the Arabic side and the African side. Usually you had to pick one side to rock with, but Esco was the only American in there, so everyone wanted to talk to him. After a couple of weeks, Esco had no idea how long he was going to have to stay, so he started adapting to the environment. He learned some Arabic, found out about Islam, and tried to work out. Basically, nobody on the outside knew what was going down, and they couldn't do anything to help Esco anyways. But what really saved him was when Esco started getting tight with the warden. The warden saw that Esco was being respectful and trying to learn from everybody inside. Esco finally got a lawyer, but the lawyer said it might be a couple of years before Esco could walk free. Esco thought he was going to lose it, but it turns out that the warden was listening to the conversation. After Esco's lawyer left, the warden said that he was going to call Esco's prosecutor for him. The warden wasn't even supposed to get involved in cases like that, but he decided to help Esco out. Then just a few minutes later, the warden came back and told Esco that he was going home in a week. If the warden didn't step in to save him, there's no telling how long Esco would have stayed in jail. If you get locked up over there, they can basically just throw away the key and never let you out if they don't want to. So Esco caught a major lucky break from the warden. And what's even crazier about the whole situation is that it ended up taking Esco's career to the next level. When Esco got out of jail and headed back to America, he said that his goal was to become the greatest he can be at all costs. He jumped right back in the studio with Future, and they made a mixtape that was inspired by the whole situation. Esco had been locked up in jail for 56 nights, so they called the tape 56 Nights. And on the title track, Future shouted Esco out and rapped, "I think 56 Nights crazy. I think me and Esco crazy. I think me and Young Sko crazy." While Esco was locked up, Future couldn't release a lot of music because everything he had recorded for 2 years straight was on a hard drive that was with Esco when the cops booked him. Nobody knew when Esco was gonna get out, and Future almost lost hundreds of tracks that he had been working on for years. But luckily, Esco came home with the drive, and on the track Know the Meaning, Future rapped all about it and said, "I spent time overseas, hanging out in England, and I got the squad on my mind, and I mean this. Do a little time out the country, I need this. 56 nights, gotta know the real meaning." And Sko came to me, said, "They think you washed up. You need to go back in. Show these niggas who the one. We going back in soon as we get off tour." He had my hard drive on him when he caught the case. When they took him into custody, they took my life away. Esco said that the whole experience changed him as a person. Plenty of rappers and producers have spent time locked up, but it's different when you're in another country where no one even speaks English and you don't know how long you're gonna spend behind bars. So when Esco started working on 56 Nights, he didn't want anyone else involved in the process. The story was so personal that he didn't want feedback from anyone because he knew no one else could relate to his story. He didn't even play it for Future until the entire mixtape was finished.
When I came home from prison from Dubai for 56 Nights, I made a mixtape called 56 Nights. And it was so personal.
Right.
I didn't want anyone to be involved with it because it was my story through music that no one really could have went through but me.
Right.
So I didn't want no one's opinion on 56 Nights. So that was the first time I made a album or mixtape without letting Future hear nothing. He didn't hear anything. He just heard the finished product.
It paid off in the end because 56 Nights is one of Future's most popular mixtapes and has classic songs on it like March Madness. Luckily, DJ Esco made it back home, but another dude that worked with Future ended up getting hit with a life sentence for a crazy case. Justin Wright is a songwriter who ran a company called Camp Entertainment worldwide and worked with some of the biggest artists in the game like Future, 21 Savage, DJ Khaled, and way more. Justin Wright had a ton of platinum hits as a songwriter, and his company also handled production, marketing, management, and other things for artists. He was on top of the game in Atlanta, but in 2021, he went down in a brutal murder case. But before Justin Wright murdered his girlfriend, Walana Bibbs, he was dating a woman named Ann. Ann moved to Atlanta to become a singer, and that's how she linked up with Justin Wright. They started dating and working on a project together at the same time, and that's when Ann got pregnant. Ann decided to take a step back from her career to focus on their kid, and then Justin started abusing her. She had scars all over her body, and eventually Ann decided to leave. Justin took their daughter away from her though, so Ann decided to focus on her career. That's when Ann met Walana Bibbs. Walana had also moved to Atlanta to become a singer, and she got tight with Ann from the jump. They moved in together, and then Ann asked Walana to do her daughter's hair for her second birthday party. Justin had custody of their daughter, so Ann didn't get to see her much, and Walana agreed to help her out. Then Walana met Justin at the party, and they started dating right after they met. Ann had allegedly warned Walana about Justin's abuse, but Walana still got with him. Justin was 32, and Walana had just turned 20, and sources say that Justin was abusing her from the jump. Walana was trying to leave Justin, but before she could break things off, he took her to Iowa to visit some of his family. It's not clear exactly how it went down, but Justin and Walana allegedly got into an argument over $70, and then Justin upped his strap and killed her. The cops booked Justin immediately and charged him with murder. And after the trial went down, the jury only had to talk for 90 minutes before they came back with a unanimous guilty verdict. Now Justin Wright is serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. He was living it up in Atlanta and working with the biggest rappers in the world. But now he'll be locked up forever, and Walana tragically lost her life over $70.